It's Sunday dinner in Jana's kitchen. Today we're having scalloped potatoes two ways. And so I am basically pre-making meals for the week because I've got a busy week of canning. And so, you know, it's fall, you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it. So anyway, so don't think we're being extravagant here. We're just pre-cooking mini meals. So I've already started my potatoes. And so I've got a food processor here. You can see it's got the blade in it, but you can do this by hand. You do not have to do this with a food processor, but it sure saves me a lot of time. You can find them on eBay used because some people never use them and sell them. This is my husband gave it to me for Christmas. This year it will be 21 years ago. This is 21 years old, so it's worth the investment. I think at the time I thought it was an extravagant gift, and it was, I think, $119. We got lots of potatoes because I'm doing them two ways, so. All right, and I also, in my food processor, did the onion. I cut it in half and then put it in here. Aaron, do you want to take the upside down? Just be careful, don't cut yourself. They're super, super sharp blades. So I'm going to take those and put them in water until you're ready for them. Keep them in water so they don't turn brown on you. I used Yukon Gold potatoes, but use what you have. I prefer Yukon Gold for scalloped potatoes. For many years, I just used the Idaho Bakers because they were always on sale. Get all of these out, no waste, right? Nowadays with food prices. And so what today's meal is based off of, and I decided to do a kind of a series here on making meat stretch. So meat is so expensive right now. Vegetables are too, but not as bad as meat. So we're going to make that meat go further. There we go. And we're going to be right back, and we're going to go over here to the stove. Okay, we're back. I just had to turn around to the stove here real quick. I'm melting 1 stick of butter, but you can use bacon grease. You know, use what you have. You can probably use margarine. I think my mom did. This is the creamy version. This is 1/3 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. And I'm going to cook this for about 2 minutes to make it's called a roux, R-O-U-X. And we're going to cook that so that it has that flour cooked so it doesn't taste raw. And you can cook it, you don't want to burn it, but you can cook it till it's light brown if you want to, but we aren't going to cook it that long. And while that's cooking, I'm going to add a couple cloves of garlic. You don't have to add garlic to it if you don't like garlic. Garlic is an antioxidant, and so we use garlic in a lot of things, and plus we just like the taste of it. Okay, it's starting to foam up. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my fire down a little bit. So I don't want to blast it. Oops, forgot. Made my roux. What am I doing? I got to put my thinking cap on here this morning. Sunday dinner. And so what I'm going to do now is this is 3 cups of whole milk, but you can use 1%, 2%, whatever you have. You can even use canned milk. Your carnation evaporated milk if you want to. You can use half and half if you want to. Now I'm going to turn my fire back up. And this is going to thicken in just a minute. We'll be right back and it'll be thickening. This is my handy dandy little spoon holder. And you pretty much bring this to a boil, stirring it constantly because you added that flour to make the roux. And it'll take probably about 3-4 minutes to get it to the boil. Now I'm going to turn it down just a little bit here. And I'm going to add either a family size can, which is 22 ounces, of cream of mushroom soup. You can use your store brand, doesn't matter. Put this over there. Put this other one in. We're going to whisk that in, and then we're going to season. Get everything out of there that we can. There we go. I'm going to whisk this. You can get these on Amazon. It's just a spoon holder for pans. It's kind of nice when you're working with messy things that drip. So you can see this is getting nice and thick from that roux we made. And remember, the potatoes have starch in them. So it's going to make a nice thick finish to it. While I'm stirring that in, I'm going to go ahead and I've got Nature's Seasoning. And I like it because it has everything you need. It's got salt, black pepper, sugar, spices, natural onion, natural garlic flavor, parsley, celery seed. And so that's going to be pretty much the only seasoning we add besides that soup. And remember, there's quite a few potatoes here. We don't want to make it too salty, but those potatoes haven't been seasoned at all, and potatoes soak up salt. But remember, if you are watching your sodium or you don't like the flavor of too much salt, use all the low sodium versions of soup and all the rest. There we go. I'm going to taste this. I think it's perfect. So I'm going to shut off my fire. I'm going to switch places here. I'm going to not try to make a mess out of everything. I'm going to move this over here without spilling it. And Aaron's going to hand me my... I had already started to put the potatoes in there, and then I changed my mind to show you. I did use Pam and treated my 9x13 pan. This is the glass pan. And you can use your skills to line them up like this, or just mix them all in a bigger bowl and pour them in if you don't want to take the time to layer your potatoes. It's all going to be just fine. It's all going to taste the same. It just depends upon the look you want. But you can go like this. And get them all filled in here. They're all the same thickness. It's just the potatoes were different sizes because we used our... That's the other thing you want to do is whatever thickness that you do your potatoes, remember that that's how long it's going to take to cook. So slice them, if you're doing them by hand, slice them on the thinner side. Get some smaller pieces here in the center. No space left unmanned here. I layer them like that because I think it just helps to help them bake easier. Now, keep it or leave it. I've got onion. I've always put onion in. I have one child, her name is Erin, who never liked onion growing up. But guess what? She loves scalloped potatoes and ham. She just didn't know that I put them in and minced them to just like almost a mush and still put them in. She just didn't like the texture of them. And I'm going to put a layer of ham. Now this is where you can use as much or as little as you want to make your meat stretch, okay? You can use Spam. You can use turkey ham. You can use leftover chicken, whatever, but this is scalloped potatoes and ham today. You could use bacon if you wanted to. Okay. You can buy, instead of a whole ham, boneless ham, you can buy a ham steak at the store. Here, could you hand me a ladle? Thank you. Now I'm going to put on a layer. We have to use half of this on this layer, and then we'll use the other half on the other half. And you can also put this on the bottom before you start laying your potatoes if you want to. And if you notice, thank you very much. I showed you already without telling you, I put this on a cookie baking sheet covered with foil. Do you know why? I will save you an hour of cleaning your oven time in case it boils over in the oven. And nobody likes that. I just thought of something I'm going to do here. If you wanted to go meatless, because you know some families do meatless Mondays, you could do this meatless. And I have some deli cheeses. This is just American cheese, but you can use any cheese that you have. Because I always do this to the top at the end, but if I just happen to think if you wanted to do this one slice short of a deck here, I'm going to get, I think I have another package right here. You can use Munster cheese, you can use anything. My hands aren't real strong. I don't have much strength in my hands at all. Erin, can you help get that? And then I clipped my fingernails off yesterday real short because I've been doing all my canning, and I had a manicure. And I didn't want to have to go get another manicure while I'm doing all the canning, because canning is rough and my hands are in water all day. I know to wear gloves, but it's just too much hassle. Okay, so there's that layer, and you can do just the cheese if you want to. Like I said, any cheese you like. And I'm going to keep going on this, and then I'm going to be right back and we'll finish it up. Okay, I'm just got all the potatoes in. I'm going to finish up with a few onions. Not a whole lot on the top, but that's flavor. Put the rest of the ham on, or not. But I know at Walmart, cream of mushroom soup is 50 cents a can. So that's $1 if you use 2 cans of cream of mushroom soup, and then 3 cups of milk. Let's see, that's not quite $2.50. So that's about $1. I'm going to say $1.25. So that's $2.25. And this bag of 5 pounds of potatoes, which I did not use all of them for this, was $4 at Aldi's. And so let's say 3 for that. So that's $6 plus the cheese and ham, whatever you pay for that. So look how many servings. 1, 2, 3. So that's at least 6 to 8 servings, depending upon if you're feeding adults or children. So that is a pretty affordable meal, plus the cost of your ham. I guess I could do this first. And then top it off. And if you're a little bit short, guess what you can do? You can just pour some milk in those spaces. But I think it's going to work out just perfectly. Use all of it. Get every last drop out of there. We're going to cover this with foil. And the beauty of it is, if somebody likes their food more salted than others, they can always add it at the table. But I know we've got plenty between the ham being salty and being the cream of mushroom soup. I sound like Elmer Fudd here. There, see, that's just the right amount for a 9x13 pan and 2 layers of potatoes. And if you wanted to, you can take some half and half or heavy cream and just add a little bit to the top so it gets down in all those layers. You don't have to do that. I don't normally have to, but that was a little thick towards the end. That's why I said you want to put this on a foil sheet, because when this is really close to the top of your oven, I've got my oven set at 425 degrees, but if your oven runs hot, just set it at 400. And I'm going to bake it. It's going to take about 2 hours and maybe a little bit longer. And I'm going to top this with some black pepper. And about 15 minutes before it's done, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to add a little, once again, if you don't like pepper, I'm going to add some cheese slices to the top of it. And do not forget to put Pam or grease your pan with Crisco or something before you start layering all of this. Don't cut yourself with that foil. My hands are so dry from washing dishes this week. I don't want to cut myself. It's like a knife. And crimp down the edges of it to help steam. I'm going to put this in the oven on the middle rack and get that going. We'll be right back and we're going to show you part 2. It's scalloped potato Sunday. 2 different ways we're making scalloped potatoes today. I've already sprayed my pan with Pam. Don't forget that step. I'm going to go ahead and lightly season this layer. Because remember, we haven't got any salt, pepper, or anything. And you know, potatoes need salt. Ooh-wee. And then I'm going to put a layer of onions. Remember, if your family doesn't like onions, either dice them up really fine so they don't know they're in there, like I used to do, or skip them. Okay? That's that layer. And I'm going to put half the ham or Spam or chicken or bacon or whatever it is your family likes, as much or as little as you can afford. You can do slices, whatever you like, make it your way. You can do canned ham, you can do whatever works. There. I had bought a boneless ham when it was on sale. Erin, can you get that? My hand is greasy. She's my strength here. Oh, she's getting that. Thank you, Erin. How is it? And then I've got my garlic here. Remember, we like garlic. You don't have to put it in. Some shaved garlic. I don't like garlic in the jars. Nasty. I don't like it. But you do what you like. Okay, now we have Gouda cheese. This is a super fast, super simple way to make scalloped potatoes. This is my favorite way. The way that I showed you previously is the way that we did them with my children when they were home growing up. Okay, so there's that layer. Now I'm going to go layer the next layer here of potatoes, and we're going to finish these out. We'll be back in just a second here, and I'll show you how we finish these and put them in the oven. All right, we're back. I didn't want you to have to wait for me to layer all the potatoes, and so I've got the second layer on. And so The beauty of this recipe is you can do it for any size pan you want. The smallest little casserole dish for person, one or two of you, whatever size, the same recipe works. This has no exact measurements to it. It's just whatever size pan you have to do 2 layers, okay? Simple. So what we got again is we got to season these potatoes, because remember, they're not seasoned with anything. There's no cream of mushroom soups or any of that. So you want to make sure you get them seasoned or it'll taste really bland. Okay, and so we're going to add a little bit of shaved garlic to this layer. Or not. See, it gets it razor thin. Just a beautiful thing. I got this from Pampered Chef. You can look it up online or ask one of your neighbors. Everybody has those Pampered Chef parties. They probably know somebody. Okay, and then add some onion if you like onion. If you don't, leave it out. Sticking to my fingers there. That was 1 onion that I used between 2 pans, large pans of scalloped potatoes. I'm going to finish with my ham. I bought they call them football hams, a half a football ham. We still have this much left. I did lunch for my husband and my daughter. I did husband and daughter's lunch. 1 day or 2 days, Aaron? Did you? I think you had 2 days of ham. And then I've made 2 scalloped potatoes and ham, and I'm going to have enough to slice to fry up for breakfast sandwiches or whatever. So that ham I paid $12 or $14 for. I don't remember. But think of how many meals this is and how many more meals between 2 pans. So football ham can be a great way to get a lot of meals. You can even slice it thin for sandwiches for lunch. Okay. Why did I not have you open that while we were coming back? Always shake your heavy whipping cream. Okay. And so now I've got Gouda, but use your favorite cheese, but I just think that Gouda works really good. Havarti would work really good too. These are really good and really rich. I got, Aldi's has really, really good cheese. And so 1 bag was $3.99. And I used 2 bags in here. $3.49? Okay, so that's $7 worth of cheese in here. Leftover football ham, which was probably about $3 worth or $4. So there's $7 plus 3 pounds of potatoes in this dish. And so you can see once again, and I bought the heavy whipping cream when it was on sale. And watch the side of your pan. You are going to pour the heavy cream until it's halfway up your pan. Doesn't matter what size pan it is. And if you have a pan that's not clear, this is a very big pan. This is a 10 by 15. And I had used some of this heavy cream on that other pan. So that's 6 cups of heavy cream. And this is $5, $7.50. So this pan probably cost about $16, but it is thick and it is big. And so I'm going to say that it's going to be about $2 a serving. I'm going to top it with just a little bit more seasoning because of that cream. I'm going to cover this with foil. We're going to bake it with the other one in the oven at 400 degrees. And maybe once it starts boiling, and you'll be able to look up from the sides if it's boiling or not. And once it's boiling, if you want to turn your oven to 375, you can if you want to. I used to put this in the oven before we'd go to church. And we'd go to Sunday school, and we'd go to Sunday service, visit with friends afterwards, come home, and it was set at 350 degrees, and it would be perfect after about 3 hours. So anyway, you can do these probably in your crock pot. I haven't done them in a crock pot, but I don't know why they wouldn't work. They'd be good. I like the oven because it gets those crispies around the edge. So I'm going to cover this, but I am going to spray my foil with Pam because of that cheese that's on the top. We don't want to lose any of that. Okay, we will be back in just a few hours when these are done, and I'm going to finish them up. And I'll show you what we've got here. In the meantime, we're going to make a nice, moist, homemade from scratch cake. Good thing I have 2 ovens. And then we're going to make dessert cake today on a Sunday. Be back in a few. Okay, we are back with version 1 of our scalloped potatoes and ham. Look at this. Yum, 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 yum. Look at all that deliciousness. That is hot, hot. We are done with that. Now in the last few minutes of this, I'm going to put some cheese on. I need 4 more slices, but this is optional. Because as you can see, it's already rich. This is the one with the cream of mushroom soup. And this is how my children remember me making this. I would take a slice of cheese and fold it in half, make little diamonds on, or little triangles on it. And I'm going to pop it back in the oven just until the cheese is nice and melted. And we'll be back and serve it up. Okay, dish number 1, the scalloped potatoes and ham with the cream of mushroom soup, and I put the cheese triangles on top. This is how my kids grew up, is eating it this way. And so I'm going to take a serving for my husband. Got the ham, got the potatoes. Oh, look at that bottom with the caramelization of the cream and the milk. Those potatoes. Serve it with some baby sweet peas. That's exactly how my children grew up right there. I'm going to add some black pepper to the top of it, and his is all ready. We'll be back with the Gouda scalloped potatoes in just a few minutes. This is what I'm talking about. I just saved myself a whole lot of time. I tipped the pan when I was putting them in, and that cream went all over, and that would have been all over the oven. So I am grateful and thankful for putting it always on a sheet tray. And so now I'm to the point where I have steamed those potatoes for a long time. I'm going to put these Gouda potatoes back in the oven, and we're going to get the top of it browned up, and then we will pull it back out, and we will be having some Gouda scalloped potatoes and ham. Okay, we are back with our scalloped potatoes with Gouda. And so the version 2 of our scalloped potato day. It's Sunday, and we're making meals for the week. And so here we go, our reveal. This is the Gouda. All it is the layers of potatoes, the ham, Gouda cheese on one layer, and then repeated that, and then poured heavy whipping cream halfway up the pan with our favorite seasoning salt in between. That's as simple as it is, and then bake it covered, and then the last 20 minutes or so to bake it uncovered until it's nice and golden. And so we are going to serve up a portion of these. See, I love, like I've moved it to the lower rack because I love that extra brown part. And then get our sweet baby peas on this one. And how is that for a delicious scalloped potatoes with Gouda for our second version. Which version do you think that you would like to try? Put it in the comments below.